Hi everybody, it's been a while since I have been here, but I thought it would be a great opportunity this week to record my next edition of Inclusion Differently. So if you're ready, let's get started. Welcome back everybody, it's me Jackie Handy and this is the next edition of Inclusion Differently. So this is the short mini series where we talk about some of the thoughts and the questions that come from my book. That's the Little Book of Belonging. It's your weekly guide to inclusive habits. You might be able to see it just on the shelf behind me, and I know that many of you have got yourselves a copy, so thank you for that support, and I hope you're enjoying the quotes and the reflections from the book. If you're still keen to get yourself a copy, then if you head over to my website jackiehandy.com, click the shop link, so /shop, and you'll be able to get yourself a copy. And as you'd expect, I ship globally, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can get yourself a copy. It's a lovely book because it's a desktop book, so, and it's it basically has 52 questions and quotes that really promote small steps towards becoming a more inclusive world founded on belonging. And you know, I thought therefore that connects beautifully with why I'm doing this video today, because this week we've seen another International Women's Day, and there's been a lot of things in the press in relation to the inequality that women still experience in the world in various different ways, whether in the workplace or perhaps in their private lives, and some of the microaggressions or the very small, almost covert pieces of discrimination that women often receive. So I thought it was a really good time to come in and talk about this quote. Are you ready? So this quote is all about role models. I know that certainly I've had role models of all genders in my life, and I think it's important when we think about role models that we don't just think, oh, they were a real inspiration, but that we really focus on why that person was an inspiration to us. So if we think about, in particular, the women in your lives that have inspired you, or indeed continue to inspire you, or maybe that might be a parent, your mother, or a guardian. Maybe that's somebody, a woman that you've worked with or that you do work with. Maybe it's your best friend, or maybe it's somebody in your family. But think about not just why they inspire you, but specifically how. So how do they actually behave in such a way that we call these people role models? Perhaps they're slightly outspoken, maybe a disruptor, but a positive one. Maybe they proactively take steps to make changes in the way systems operate. Maybe they've been that sounding board for you to share your experiences, and perhaps they've given you guidance as to how you can make your own life experience better, perhaps for yourself or indeed for those around you. Because, you know, during the COVID pandemic, it's widely reported that many mothers have spent an additional 5 working hours each day just maintaining that balance of perhaps work, homeschooling and general daily duties that they perform. 5 hours. Gosh, I mean, you know, I'm not a mother, but boy, it's been busy, and so I've no idea how I would ever cram in an extra 5 hours of work into my day. That's an incredible achievement. Or perhaps it's an incredible burden for those women, those mothers who have kind of felt forced into doing this additional work just simply to keep everything afloat. So what can we all do more of to help that situation? Perhaps, you are a man watching this that thinks, maybe I could give a bit more support. Maybe we could share the load a little more. Maybe I can look at what some of my male friends do to support the women in their lives. If you're a male in business, perhaps you're a business leader or a senior figure in a business, what can you do to actually change the narrative about women in business? How often do you have multi-gendered meetings and it's a woman that you turn to take notes or make coffee? These small microaggressions, they exist wherever we are in the world right now. And of course, in certain countries, the burdens weigh even heavier. So let's think about those people in our lives that we truly see as role models. Let me move this scene now. Let's think about those people, and not just why we consider them to be role models, but what it is that they specifically do to change the status quo. And then think about, well, how does that behaviour differ to my own? And what are the small steps that perhaps I can start taking ownership for? Really looking in the mirror and reflecting on the language that I use and the everyday microaggressions that perhaps I was less aware of until recently. Speak to the women in your lives and find out what it is they need, and then try and map out a way to support them. So that's just a reflection from one perspective of the world. And of course, that particular quote can cross over into all parts of the diversity in this world. So really think about, who are the people that inspire you in your life? Why do they inspire you? And then explicitly, what is it that they do or say that means that you call them a role model? Because by doing that, and then by beginning to emulate those behaviours and that language, we can all come together by taking our own small steps to create a world where really everybody has an equitable place, where we all feel valued for our contribution and we have a voice to air that contribution. Not just a seat at the table, but a voice at that table. I'd welcome your comments and thoughts about this topic. It's clearly a big one, but I hope that it gives you something to reflect on today, to think about the people, and explicitly this week, the women in your lives, to think about how, by working together, by committing to small changes, tweaks and refinements in our language and behaviour, we can truly make this world a better place for everyone. So that's it from me today. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Inclusion Differently. I've been Jackie Handy. Don't forget, if you want to get yourself a copy of the Little Book of Belonging, just head over to my website. This series, all of the episodes from this series can be found on my YouTube channel, which is simply Jackie Handy. So you'll find those there under the playlist Inclusion Differently. And finally, I should mention that I'm visible on Clubhouse quite a lot at the moment. Now, for those of you that have still not yet heard of Clubhouse, Clubhouse is an audio-based social media app. So you can wear your pajamas, you don't have to do your hair, but you can show up and you can contribute to the conversation. I run a club on Clubhouse which is called The Power of I, so feel free to follow that if you choose. And within that club I host a number of rooms each week. On a Wednesday, 5 till 6 p.m. UK time, I host or co-host a room with a series of recruitment experts, and we call that room Nail That Interview. Whether you are an individual in business that's going to be going through the recruitment process and you'd like some advice about how to really secure the most diverse but also the most suited talent into your business, then join us. But similarly, if you're somebody that's job seeking right now and really looking to stand out, differentiate yourself from your competition and shine at that next interview, then come and join us. There's a whole heap of useful information, tips and great ways to help you stand out from the crowd at interview. So that's on a Wednesday, 5 till 6 p.m. UK time. On a Thursday, I co-host a room with a number of, again, wonderful expert panelists on increasing visibility. So if you're in business or you're somebody starting out in business that wants to become more visible to a diverse audience, then come along and join us. We have many tips about those of you looking to do videos like this, perhaps do a podcast, write a book, and so on. And so we'd be delighted to have your company where we can discuss ways to help you become more visible in your business. That's a Thursday evening, 5 till 6 p.m. UK time. And then finally, last but by no means least, on a Friday, 3 till 4 p.m. UK time, I run or co-host a room on Clubhouse called How Inclusive Are You? And if you're watching this today, on the 12th of March, then this afternoon we're going to be talking all things International Women's Day, celebrating women and also talking about how we can move the dial on inclusion for women in our lives. But we talk each week about various aspects of inclusion. We challenge the narrative and we talk, as you'd expect from me, about the small steps we can take to make differences in our business and in our world in general. So again, do feel free to come and join us. So wherever I'll see you next on social media, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram or Clubhouse or perhaps YouTube, I look forward to seeing you again next time. In the meantime, stay safe and well wherever you are, and thanks for watching this edition of Inclusion Differently. Bye for now.